This is foundation inspection. The grade level here at the front of the property is too high. We're standing at the front left elevation. Here the grade level is actually in contact with the bricks. It's going to allow moisture to get through into the house, and that could cause rot at the studs. So that's got to be dropped back. We're at the right hand elevation now. Have a corner pop here. That's okay, that often happens. Just right at the corner is a stress point. This is the rear elevation, corner pop as we said, post tension cable, foundation. Now I cannot see the foundation here because of the deck and the structure around it, so I can't inspect that area, so I can't vouch for it. We're at the rear left elevation of the property. Again, we're just looking at the general condition of the foundation. There's a post tension cable end here that's exposed. That's got to be covered up. This is called parging. It just protects it. And again, we've got soil levels too high here. Good morning.
I'm curious, are you an inspector?
Yes, I am.
Does that mean someone put a bed on this house?
They have.
Yay! Nice!
How long's it been empty?
2
About
years.
2 years, has it?
Actually,
wow.
more like 3.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So that's a
3.
long while to be empty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause we moved here in 2006, and I think it was within the next year that they moved and put it up on the market.
Right, right. And do you know, have you had any, in the bad weather we had a month or so, did you have a lot of hail?
Yes.
You did?
You did?
We have had hail.
Yeah, you had hail.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Yeah.
I
It varies,
never
it
know.
seriously varies from one house to another on the
It
street.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had a lot of wind, of course.
Wow, yeah.
But we didn't even have our insurance. We didn't even call our insurance company
We
to
didn't.
come out
No, we
and
didn't have any.
inspect,
There
'cause
may
we
be.
didn't have that much.
He knows. There may be pings like hail damage.
Well, there's hail damage on the
Right.
on the air conditioning unit on the
Yes.
rear elevation.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's well dinged up, that is, but it could have been a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I haven't been on the roof yet, but I'll be on the roof
I'm
and see if
sure
I can
there
find
probably
something
is, Yeah.
and that. But yeah,
All right. Maybe they'll. I wonder who they are.
yeah.
Awesome.
I haven't met them yet, but
Oh, we're so glad.
Yes,
Gosh,
definitely.
well, it's a nice area to come to, isn't it? Pretty.
It's peaceful. Yes.
Yes.
Very nice out
It's
here.
really nice out here.
Yes, very much
Have
so.
a good day.
You too. Bye bye. This is the grade inspection. What we've got here are large trees growing around the foundation. Now, that doesn't mean to say that they've caused damage, because they don't. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Here's the rub. These trees are a little too close to the foundation for common practice now. But the real issue would be if these trees start to touch the roof. You need to cut them back. I'll note in a report that they're too close. I have to do that. It's just routine, because I have to tell you of all the risks that are involved in buying a house, and this is a common risk because everybody likes trees, great shade and everything. Now around here we've got a lot of bushes. These bushes have grown too high. They're going to expirate a lot of water in the summer, and that's going to make the ground by the foundation dry. This crepe myrtle here is far too high. I actually convert it to a bush. You know, you can cut these down and they'll grow again vigorously, but this is going to touch the roof and that will cause damage. So remove the bushes from around the house. It's good practice. You'll be okay with the trees, but you might like to consider putting a root barrier in if you suspect the tree roots are getting under the house. Is incorrect. It's actually sloping towards the house. That means water is going to come down in this area here. What you might like to think about is to dig a swale running along here that will, a swale is just a dip, a little bit of a ditch, that will direct the water away around the house, because we're sloping downhill to the rear elevation of the property. So a swale here would be great. This side is okay, we've got a swimming pool, but we have drainage coming out here. And then of course we've got the right elevation, and on the right elevation we've got good drainage. Right rear elevation, it slopes nicely. Again, this tree is very close to structures like the swimming pool, etc, etc. My main concern at the moment is it's touching the roof here, and that will cause roof damage at some point. Okay, so grading is poor at the front elevation. There was a swale, you can see it's running here, runs down and around, harmlessly removes the water away, but it's actually still running towards the house at the front. The swale needs to be re-established. It was probably there, just over time it's got filled in. This is the roof inspection. We're at the front elevation. You see you've got some movement in the roof here underneath it, and you can see there's damage to the shingles around this area here. There's more damage here, so the front elevation has sustained hail damage. Yeah, there's quite a lot of damage here. You can see it's been sealed. Somebody's tried to stop it leaking. Again here, this part is too steep for me to walk on. I'm not even going to attempt it. I found it doesn't help my health falling off roofs. Yeah. Okay, so the front elevation of the roof is aged. There is considerable evidence of mechanical kinetic damage, which is a fancy way of saying there's hail damage. While we're up here, you can see here there's minor repairs have been made. They've not been made properly, and they've opened up again down the bottom here. This will almost certainly leak, so there's water penetrating at this point during rainstorms. Equally as much up here, it's rotten, and that's in need of repair, because that will almost certainly be rotting. You can see down here a lot of rot, and that's caused through water coming in at the top here, so it's getting into the wall system. I'm standing at the rear elevation of the property looking at the roof. Now, the roof itself is too steep for me to walk on, but I've already inspected the front elevation and I've found evidence of damage from hail. Also, I note that there's hail damage on the air compressor, the air conditioning compressor here. What I'll bring your attention to is on this roof is how the shingles have now aged terribly. The roof is in quite poor condition. You can see the dark areas on the pictures and the video. That indicates where the shingle is losing its protective grit covering, and as a result it's got a lot of dirt getting into it, and it's going to reduce its ability to prevent leaks. So I would recommend a new roof on this house without a doubt. There's limited attic access. This is one of the attic doors. This is another one at the right elevation. And in here we have an air conditioning unit. We're just looking at the attic at the moment. We have 2x4 rafters, and there's evidence of people trying to trap rats. There's a rat trap there, and there's mice droppings in the attic. So it looks like you have mice in the building. The other attic is through here. Again, there's limited access. 2x4 joists, 2x4 studs. Yeah, rat trap down there. Damage there, looks like rats have been chewing it. Looking right down the front elevation, there's disturbance of the insulation, and all there is batting insulation. There's no blown insulation. This is not good. You need to get blown insulation put in here, otherwise it's going to get very, very hot downstairs, almost impossible to cool it. But here's the good thing, it's not a particularly expensive proposition to get blown insulation into this attic. Now, it's a limited structural inspection I can do here. The reason being, I cannot get full access. I've already sent a brown recluse, so I'm not going to crawl around inside there because I don't want to end up in the emergency room. But you can see here, you can see that we have a plate. Top plate runs along the actual bottom, over the joist, and you see where the light is now. There's the nails are coming out as the joist distorts and moves. So the attic over the master closet, what we see here, this white pipe is actually the vent for the extractor from the bathroom, and it's actually venting into the attic. This is wrong. What it will do is remove damp air from the bathroom and dump it in your attic, and that's not good. It causes mold growth and other things like that. There's mice droppings in this attic. I'd say there's an ongoing mice infestation. This is a wall inspection. We're looking for our cracks indicating structural movement. When these foundations move, it's not often shown in the foundation itself, it's shown in the wall system. Here we've got a steel lintel over a window, steel lintel over a door, here and here. Whenever you get steel lintels, you have weep holes. This is a weep hole down here. You see it? Allows moisture to come out, dry air to go in, and that's missing, so that will be on the rip. So we're at the front porch area. And there's no cracks around here. Let's go around the building and see what we can find. This is a small attic. It's over the porch. You can see it's got a low slope roof above it here, and here it's over the top of the house. There's no access to that attic, and there should be. In addition to that, there's no ventilation to that attic that I can find. Now, there might be ventilation inside, but the problem is that along this area here, where we've got a soffit, okay, there's no soffit vents. Soffit vents are these vents that we see here, and that is going to cause a problem. You need to put soffit vents in along here, and also it may be necessary, and you can have this when it's re-roofed, you may be necessary to put vents in that roof above us, above this porch. We're standing at the porch. We have a considerable amount of damage here from a roof leak. So if it's leaking here, it's going to be leaking into the wall system as well, and that's in badly need of repair. But as I said, the roof is almost certainly leaking. I can't imagine it's not. It's just not actually been leaking long enough for the water to come through and completely rot the area. So we're going to look at the walls on the left elevation of the property. Again, we're looking for cracks. So here we got a crack. Can you see it running down here? It's cosmetic. It's a little bit of settlement, not uncommon. So, but it's worth observing it, just watching it. Yes. Now this is a classical movement crack. You can see here where the crack is going down the wall. And if we look at take our eye above us, there's no crack here around the window, but it will appear in time. But look at the siding. Can you see the siding here, here, here? It's opening up. Now, is that really something to worry about? Not at this stage. It's going to be essentially cosmetic, and I'll tell you why this crack has appeared. This property has not been irrigated properly. The ground is drying out, and the back of the building is subsiding as opposed to the front or the other way around. It doesn't matter. It's moving differentially. It's called a differential displacement crack, and that's what's happened there. You need to monitor it and certainly fill the crack up here so water doesn't get into the mortar, into the wall system. Yeah, there's another crack here. So there's a little bit of a settlement in the building at the left elevation. There's water penetration around the window here, the window system, between the trim. That needs to be investigated. There's damage to the trim here. That's going to cause water to leak behind the wall system there. That needs to be addressed immediately. We're going now on the right elevation. This is a new wall system. It's been put in. It's been used to cover up a garage that was there. You can see here the caulking is starting to deteriorate. It's going to allow water inside the building. This installation of the board along the bottom is incorrect. That board is in contact with the ground, and that will rot. There's nothing to stop that rotting. There should be there should never be contact between wood and the stone here. It's just going to cause it to rot. And of course I can't tell what the flashing is behind there. I rather suspect that this wall has not been correctly installed, but what can I do? I can't tear it out. All I can do is alert you to my suspicions. Okay, here's the power meter, and you'll note here we've got a whacking great hole where the power's going through. That's going to allow insects, water, all sorts of stuff to get inside the house. Coming back round to the front elevation. A little bit of movement in the trim here and right at the apex. Again, that should be addressed when the roof's replaced, which I recommend is done ASAP. A little bit of structural movement along here around the lintel, and the reason it's doing it is classic. This is why we want weep holes over it. This lintel, if you look at it closely when you're at the property, you see there's a gap opening between the mortar and it, and that's caused by rust. What is actually happening is the lintel's being forced down in the middle, and it curls up at the end and causes these cracks. All stopped by putting weep holes in. Window inspection. We're looking at the caulking and the general condition of windows. From the inside, I know some of these windows are fogged. That means that their seals are broken and then condensation forms on the inside. Here you've got poor caulking that's going to cause water to leak behind into the wall system, and that can lead to all sorts of issues. Here we are at the front porch. You've got a hole in the caulking here. Yeah, caulking has been badly done here. Somebody's made an attempt to seal it. Let's move round to the left elevation. We're at the left elevation now, looking at the windows. Screens are missing. Poor caulking here, crack here, we mentioned that earlier. This window is badly fogged. You can see the condensation on it. It won't show up too well in the video. I don't know whether I can take a photograph of it. It's pretty difficult. We might get it inside. No, it doesn't make sense to take a photograph. These screens are down. Moving to the rear left elevation. Now, this window has a climber on it. That should be removed. And this climber that's on the roof should be removed. We're at the rear elevation again. We'll look at the windows. They don't show any signs of fogging, but because of their age, I suspect they'll go out. This one's fogged here. We'll look at these windows from inside. These windows are okay, got screens, no breaks. Now moving to the right elevation. Windows, we're going to move to the left elevation. Oh, sorry, the front right elevation. Caulking is in poor condition. So caulking around the entire house is in poor condition, needs to be fixed. Up here I can see it's deteriorated. Looking at the walls and windows in the upper part of the building. Yeah, this window's fogged. Seals have gone on that one and this one here, both of them fogged. They'll need to be replaced. We've got windows here. Broken screen. Yeah, fogged window here. You can see it clearly, all the condensation in between the screens. Damaged screen here, looks like a hole caused by hail. And we're looking at the window now in the middle of the building. This is the front elevation window. Loose screen, but it's not broken. No signs of fogging on that window. Let's move to the right elevation, another bathroom. And here you can clearly see we have a problem with the window, it's all fogged. So fogged windows in both the upstairs bedrooms. Into the right elevation of the building. Small staircase down. Missing screen. Missing screens all over the place. And then we'll look at the front elevation. We have fogging in this window, yeah. I can see the streaks there, so this window has gone, that needs replacement. The majority of floor on the ground floor is tile, and we've been inspecting it for cracks indicating movement. There's none. All the ceilings around the building are looking okay. I'm concerned about water leaks. But haven't found any. Let's go and look and see what we've got on the ceilings upstairs. There we are on the upstairs. I am suspicious about water leaks because of the presence of the poor roof, but it looks like it's early stages. It hasn't actually got through to leak into the roofing system that much. This is good news. Small crack there, pretty minor, cosmetic. Final room. No sign of structural movement, cracks or water penetration. We're now inspecting the doors. Here we're going to see if they have the proper seals. We have a weather seal here, a bit torn up here, probably a dog. Look at the threshold. In good condition, no sign of distress. A little bit of caulking needed up here. Caulking is important because what it does, it seals the building envelope. It stops damp air getting in. You know, the humidity rises in the summer and you've got a cold, cooled interior. It's going to draw it through holes like this, and you get damp inside the building, and you don't want that. Have another exit door here. Again, deterioration in the caulking. The door itself, both doors, door frames, have the frames coming in contact with the stone. This is wrong. There should be a gap there, an undercut, to prevent water coming into contact with the wood. It wicks up through the wood, comes up through the wood, and causes it to. This is stairs inspection. Simply want to look for safety. Yeah, it's less than 4 inches, which is what we're looking for. It's solid. It doesn't wobble. All the way up, right to the top. Yeah, it's in good condition. This is a little loose. I recommend that that's stiffened, because if you fall against it, it could give way. It's a small probability that it will happen. We have another staircase at the right elevation. The rail, safety rail. Yep, the safety rail is loose here. That needs to be taken care of. Moving downstairs. No obstructions. Again, spindles are close together. That's okay. It's a wood fireplace. There's ash in it, and I'm not going to poke around in it. We're going to very gently and carefully open it up. I want to see if I can look in the view. One of the issues I face is the presence of brown recluse. This building's been empty for a long while, and they've taken up residence. It's got gas supply here. This is a metal tube chimney, so don't be fooled, it's not brick. We're looking at the structure here. It's actually correctly installed. We have a ledger board which is going into the fascia board here, and I can't tell you whether these are correctly installed because I can't look in. What I'm saying is the design of it is correct. It's not resting on the roof, it's resting on these pads along here, which is correct. Now, you've got a lot of climbing plants out here and needs to be removed. That will damage the roof. These rails are correct. They're not quite as narrow as they should be. They should be 4 inches. They're just a bit more than 4 inches. However, they are correct. They're not climbable. This one here has lost one of its spindles. Now we can see here its construction. This is correct. It's actually resting on metal piers, concrete piers. This part of the deck here is actually supported and it's touching the ground, but there is a concrete. No, I can't see a concrete pier. There might be, but I'm not going to dig. I see what appears to be a pier here, so that's good. This is not though. Here, this structure here is actually in contact with the ground. And we've got lots of wood here. Your termite inspector will tell you about that. So we've got a support pier here, correctly installed. Yeah, the other piers are there. This is the electrical panel. There's 200 amp system. The pull breakers have tripped. I tripped that this morning when I did a small test on it to establish whether the pull equipment's working correctly. It's not. Pull equipment is in badly need of repair.